What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Max Gallegos here with another sports rant. And oh boy, do we have a show for you. So the Indiana Pacers just went up 3-1 on the New York Knicks. They are now set up to probably make the NBA Finals only by an act of God that the New York Knicks pull this off. I would be incredibly shocked if that actually happened. But the New York Knicks fell apart tonight. That was plain and simple, obvious from just what has happened in this series. They were never really in control of the game. It always felt like Indiana was out in front, leading the charge, always kind of had what, even when the Knicks would answer with something great, they would answer with something better. They would get down in transition faster. And we've seen this all series. It's something we have not been nuanced to. The New York Knicks in Game 3 just had a way better fourth quarter. Karl Anthony Towns decided to turn into Jesus Christ and score a fuckload of baskets. But that was not the same tonight. Tonight, in the fourth quarter, in crunch time, they had Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby taking the final shots, the game deciding possessions. And I was absolutely flabbergasted by this entire ordeal. And I can kind of tell why, because Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns looked gassed. They looked at the end of their rope. They looked like they were, like, Karl Anthony Towns was like grabbing his knee halfway through, and it's like, yeah, this is wraps. Game, set, match. Game, I feel like if they do win Game 5, they're not winning Game 6, but by a miracle, if they win Game 5, they're not winning Game 6. Game 5 is just going to probably be a formality at this point. It's like, yes, you technically have to win 4 games. We know Indiana's better. Everybody on God's green earth knows Indiana is better than the New York Knicks, and it showed tonight. Tyrese Halliburton, 32 points, 12 rebounds, 15 assists. That's a Jokic-like stat. That literally is some stuff we see from Nikola Jokic and literally nobody else. Oscar Robertson, he joined 3 guys who have done it in the playoffs. Oscar Robertson, Nikola Jokic, and Tyrese fucking Halliburton. Overrated my ass. Also, he contributed 4 steals. So he was active on the defensive end. He did not turn the ball over, which I think that's the most impressive thing, and that's probably the best part of his game. He does not turn the basketball over, and he is a pass-first guy. So his basketball IQ is out of this world. What the Knicks are going to do to him, I have no idea, because they have not seen any answers. Because, yes, they don't have a great set offense, a half-court offense, but I really like Pascal Siakam. I like Miles Turner. Andrew Nembhard was kind of a non-factor in this game, but he has had some good minutes. Aaron Naismith turned into prime Klay Thompson a couple nights ago. Yeah, he's kind of streaky, but like they are a cohesive, good team. Obi Toppin is also like one of the guys. He's just a fun, electric type of player. He's just a freak athlete. And New York just seems out of gas. Like, it just seems like they don't have any answers. Like, their bench is not nearly on the same caliber. Their starters, when in the half court, they're doing great, but Tyrese Halliburton, Miles Turner, Pascal Siakam are just winning. They are just winning in every possession, even when Cat makes a tough shot or Brunson makes an and one, gets the free throw line. They just get back. They pull the ball out of the net. They inbound it quickly, get down the floor, get an easy shot. And that is their offense. Because their set offense really struggles sometimes, especially with that like second unit. But there's just guys I like on Indiana. They fuse. They are gelled. You can tell they play as a team. They play as a unit. It's all flowing and graceful like basketball should be. It is a little hectic at times, but that comes with playing at a really, really fast pace. They kind of play like a northern New Mexico basketball team. And if you don't know what that is, I am going to explain it to you right now. In northern New Mexico, your point guard is 5'6". Your center might be 5'10". So you have to move the ball down the floor quickly. Otherwise, when you play teams from southern New Mexico where their point guard is 6'2" and they have a 6'7" center, you might struggle. But you can beat teams that way by just being quick and just running them back and forth like the Indiana Pacers do. The Indiana Pacers, by their namesake, run the floor incredibly well. And it is going to take them to the NBA Finals, presumably. In my opinion, I think they will wax the Knicks in Game 5 and march happily on to the NBA Finals. So after Game 4, pretty much everybody has the Oklahoma City Thunder just to cruise or to be in the NBA Finals and probably win the NBA Finals as the favorite in the NBA Finals for sure. Because the clinic that they put on in Minnesota, Game 4, was pretty outstanding. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Mr. Grifter himself, had 40 points, 9 rebounds, 10 assists, and a steal. He was pretty fucking good. There were moments where it was kind of similar to this the Indiana Knicks game that we just watched, where it was like Minnesota was never out of it, but there was a clear class. Like there's tiers. You can tell Minnesota is not nearly on the same level, and Julius Randle played atrociously. He was a non-factor and kind of looked like he quit in 30 minutes of play, 28 minutes. 5 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. Awful. Non-factor. Did not matter. Anthony Edwards, in 40 minutes, had 16, 4, and 6. That is not going to cut it against the best team in the West. Probably the best team in the NBA. We have just got to be real and splash yourself with the cold water there. Jaden McDaniels, who was getting cooked by SGA on the defensive end, is your leading scorer with 22. You have one of the great young talents of this in this league, and 16 points is all you get out of him. Another guy that I love to shit on, actually almost played just about as well, but is Rudy Gobert. 13 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists. This stat line does not exercise how badly he actually played, because he is whenever he has to come up and guard a guard like SGA up at the in the perimeter, he gets fried. He cannot move. He cannot, like, there's no, like, in this is just on the perimeter, which I like, it's okay. Like, he's 7'2". Okay. Can he at least play interior defense? Not really. He can block shots. He can just slap the backboard. But SGA is very good on the glass, so all that does is just, it looks stupid. It makes a bong, and you missed. he collected one singular block this entire game. On the other side, Jalen Williams, 34 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals. I love this kid. He is a tough perimeter defender, very willing and good. He's got the length. He can kind of be hot and cold, especially when it comes to scoring. But when he's on his P's and Q's, this guy is one of the best wing defenders slash scorers, and he's just good. He's just like an all around just good basketball player, and I just love it. And even when it comes this, it just feels like a class, outclassed, outmatched, game set match. I think Minnesota could push it to 6, maybe even 7 if they have a game 5 is a blowout in OKC, which I doubt, because in their home games they have absolutely owned Minnesota. But I don't know, could change. But as you have not been able to solve the riddle of Shea. Nobody really did. Denver kind of did, but those first 2 games, you guys had no idea what you were doing. And this game, when you switched up your game plan and started sagging off of him a little bit, making him shoot, he gave you 40. So you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't when it comes to SGA. And they can sit there and cry about it all you want. He is the MVP. And he outclassed Anthony Edwards pretty badly. Anthony Edwards is compared to Michael Jordan. Compared to that guy? No way. I feel like SGA, with his mid-range prowess and just like a hustle, he's a good defender. It's kind of an underrated facet of his game. We like to talk about the foul baiting and stuff, but he is an excellent defender. He is a mid-range junkie, which is kind of hilarious. All the old heads, or Dino, the old head over here, is like, oh, he's so old. And oh, he foul baits, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, he plays exactly like guys in the old, guys like, who? Tim Hardaway? Tracy McGrady? Kobe Bryant? Dare I say Michael Jordan? He has a different facet. It's a modernized version, but it is very similar to those guys. And he puts on a fucking clinic. He almost had a 40-point triple-double. So, yeah, this guy deserved the MVP. This guy deserved a lot of what he's got. But also, yeah, I understand the grifter and that shit is annoying. But you also just got to play fucking defense. He's going to get calls. He's going to not get calls. It's basketball. Lock the fuck in. Jaden McDaniels, you should not be getting fried by him. Which is kind of hilarious because last year in the Western Conference Finals, you got fried by Luka, who is a complete, maybe not a completely different player from SGA, but it was okay, SGA is too fast for you. I'm going to give this credit to Jason Tim. I'm stealing his little bit here, but he said, Jaden McDaniels is a great defender. Against Luka in the Western Conference Finals last year, Luka was too big and physical for him. This year in the Western Conference Finals, SGA is just too damn shifty for him. He moves too much. And I find it very, very ridiculous. And because it's well, what can you do? It's you can't boost your athletic score. This isn't 2K. You can't turn fouls off. This isn't 2K. You're just gonna kind of do what's kind of worked against him. Would you do what Denver did to try and subdue him? But in all reality, I think if I'm Minnesota, and I've said this from the get go, move Rudy Gobert out of the fucking starting lineup. This guy is way too expensive and useless in this game, in the series, in in general. I know I talk a lot of shit about Rudy Gobert, but it's if he's frustrating to me because he is 7'2" and has zero basketball skills. If he was, I say this over and over again. If he was 6'10", he'd work at Walmart because he would not be big enough to block shots in the NBA. He might have been a cool college player, but he would have not touched the NBA basketball court with the kind of useless skills he has. On the offensive end, he just stands there. Like he just kind of stands in the way if he's not setting screens. Because they'll try and pick and roll with him and Ant, and it's like you don't even have to do anything because he's if it's not wide open, he plays like me. If it's not wide the fuck open, he's gonna miss. Like you can almost like you put teensy bit of pressure on him, boom, right off the back iron. You throw it down into him in the post, hard, way off the glass, and he's getting out rebounded by Lou Dort, by Isaiah Hardenstein, by Chet Holmgren. But literally, all these guys are out rebounding him. Like in this game specifically, rebounds. Rudy Gobert had 9. Lou Dort had 4. Chet Holmgren had 7. Isaiah Hardenstein had 6. SGA had 9. Same number. SGA is 6'6". You're 7'2". Just grab the fucking ball. Like it's not rocket science. It really it's just you gotta box out and get the fucking ball. And I'm gonna double check with those rebounding numbers. 7 of them were offensive rebounds. 2 of them were defensive. That means that yes, he was getting offensive rebounds, which is great for his team, but that means he gave up 2, 4, 8, 13 offensive rebounds. I'm not defensive rebounds rather. So that means there were points coming off of OKC out rebounding the DPOY and the 7'2" guy that stands out there. Like they were just out rebounding him. What? And then they're getting points off of it. They're getting second chance points, and they were obviously cashed them in because they won this game by. I know the final score is a little closer, but in reality, it was not that close. That was just kind of garbage time points. They were trying to feed their way into, kind of eat their way back into the game, like prayers and fouls and stuff. But yeah, there are 2 players in the losing teams currently in both the East and Western Conference Finals that probably should be moved. Karl Anthony Towns, to a lesser extent, of the New York Knicks, and Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert is way too expensive and offers very little for what he is paid. The best game he had in this playoffs, his 20-20 game against the Lakers, they did not have a center for, I want to say, 40 minutes of the game. I'm just being honest. So when there was nobody to challenge him, yeah, he scored a lot of points and got a lot of rebounds. No shit. The Lakers didn't have a fucking center. But in the rest of the games, he has been kind of abysmal. I'm not going to say kind of. He's been very abysmal. And I've been shitting on him recently, but the T Wolves have to move off of his contract. He is way too expensive, and for what he provides, I feel like they traded way too much for him to begin with. But it works kind of. Fugazi. I am a D1 hater of him, but it is what it is. Karl Anthony Towns, on the other hand, is a different problem. He is he can be very, very good on the offensive end, but sometimes on defense he is a literal liability. He is like a trying to quantify this. He's like a 10-year-old who's had caffeine and put behind the wheel of a 18-wheeler truck. That's how bad of a liability he is on defense. He starts off the game in the first quarter. He has 2 fouls instantly. Like, hello, your team needs you. Your team needs you offensively, desperately. Mitchell Robinson is not a great offensive player outside of offensive rebounding. They need you desperately there. You can't be hooking guys' arms and doing dumb shit and doing stupid fouls. It's not even it's like he was trying to take a charge and his feet were moving. It's like he was hooking Miles Turner's arm. It's like you can see it in 4K HD. It's obvious it's as pure as daylight, cresting over the eastern horizon. Oh yeah, that was an obvious foul. Why? It flabbergasts me. And this is the guy who was supposed to take the Knicks to the promised land. He did technically, right? They hadn't been to the Eastern Conference Finals in 25 years, but this kind of seems like a disaster. It feels like the guy you traded for, you spent a lot of money on, is essentially your downfall. The thing we will need to move off of is Karl Anthony Towns, and you just acquired him in the last offseason. It kind of feels funny because they were like, oh, yeah, we need to be better offensively to beat Boston. You beat Boston. Beating Boston is not winning a championship. Yeah, so it felt great, and it was fun to watch everybody say "Bing bong, motherfucker, bing bong" in on 7th Avenue. But we wanted to bring back a Larry O'Brien. That didn't happen. It's not going to happen. Even if like I've said, if by some miracle they win Game 5, they are not pulling out Game 6. Not in Indy. So it's been a fun experiment with Karl Anthony Towns, but it's time for the Jedi to end, as Luke Skywalker said in a horrible movie. It's just time to blow it up. I've heard a lot from Knicks fans about Tibbs. Tibbs is why the fuck? I love Kenny is he couldn't play nine guys in a baseball game, and it's like you can tell because the Pacers just ran them off the fucking floor completely. Karl Anthony Towns, I don't know how they would move him, but if they have to move, they can't technically move him, but the guy that they actually should move is Mikal Bridges, who also was just recently acquired for a lot of picks, but he was the guy taking shots in the fourth quarter. It wasn't Jalen Brunson the clutch player of the year. It was Mikal Bridges, whose jump shot looks uglier than your sister. So, yeah, the Knicks need to fix some shit because that didn't work. It was nice, but it did not work. Because working would have been hoisting the Larry O'Brien trophy and everybody in Madison Square Garden going crazy and Knicks fans ripping Seventh Avenue to shreds. Well, guys, that is probably going to be the video. Um, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Please go follow my socials: Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. At Another Sports Rant is all of those. Yeah, if you love the channel, please leave a comment. If you hate me, please leave a comment. I love to see the good old fashioned hate comments. But yeah, I love you guys. Peace out.